Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of The Last of Us Season 1, Episode 5. When we had the Bill and Frank episode, one of the things that was kind of running through my head while I was sobbing uncontrollably was, okay, is there ever going to be a way that the show can top this? And I'm not saying that Episode 5 topped it, but this is easily the second best episode of the show. If not, it's jostling with Bill and Frank for me. This was unbelievably good and sad and desperate and just insanely intense.
This was so wild. This episode was wild.
Yeah,
Like that whole mega huge mushroom man. What is going on with this show? It is so intense. And the thing that this show, I wasn't sure how they
yeah,
were going to keep this up, but 5 episodes in, they have kept this up where it's like with The Walking Dead, there was like certain characters you knew were never going to die, was always going to
yeah,
be kind of the C team or the B team, really you weren't going to
yeah.
lose a main actor unless they were like, you know what, I'm moving on to something else. And then everybody kind of knew it was coming. This show is like, we're going to introduce you and make you love Tess, Bill, Frank, Sam, Henry, and then we're gonna take them all away. This show is just like no prisoners. Everyone's at risk. Everyone's gonna go. Like, I know that Joel and Ellie, they're the story, and they're not gonna go,
Yeah.
but like everyone around them is truly at risk.
We're going to talk about the story of Sam and Henry, why this was moving, devastating, any word of your choosing. Before we go further, though, if you guys enjoy this discussion, hit that subscribe button because we will be here through the rest of Last of Us to see who else ends up dying. And we don't want you guys to miss our reactions to all of that.
Absolutely. And we're going to have a bunch of other stuff coming up here at the channel. We've got Mandalorian coming up next month. Blacklist is back.
Yeah.
Snowfall. We're going to be covering Bel Air. Yellow Jackets for all of you Kathleen fans out there, because she's also gone because she's busy over on Yellow Jackets doing horrible things over there. So hit that subscribe button. Follow us over on Instagram, Matt and Jess TV.
Here's the funniest thing about this episode to me, and funny is a very interesting word to describe it. But I've said this in other videos. Like, I haven't played the games. I'm a gamer, but I haven't played them, so I didn't know what was gonna happen with Sam and Henry. But I just entered the game. Entered this show with the expectation of like, okay, a lot of people are gonna die. And after Bill and Frank, I was just like, every guest star I'm just going to assume is also going to die. So I knew they were probably going to. It was just a matter of how and when, and I still did not anticipate how attached I would get to them and how upset it would make me when they were gone.
This show has done a wonderful job making us all really feel for characters that are here for an episode, gone in an episode. It's very hard to do something like that, almost like a procedural where, you get the case of the week, the people of the week, they're here, they're gone. You're kind of like, I'm never going to remember them. But then there's The Last of Us, where they're able to actually draw you in to Henry and Sam, these two brothers, everything that Henry did for Sam, where he turned in the leader of the resistance, someone he said was a good man, a great leader. People loved him. Kathleen's brother, which is why she's after Henry, of what Henry did to get medicine to help his brother. And we even saw that confrontation between Kathleen and Henry, where she was kind of like, why is his life more important than my brother's life, who was also doing something important here, who was leading a resistance, who was helping a lot of people? Why is this life more important than his life, sort of thing, which is a question that I think left a lot of us sitting back being like, man, we all know that, we're going to kill somebody for our brothers. I have two brothers. I will kill somebody for them. But at the same time, it is, she also has a brother that's like, well, my brother's dead, but your brother's alive.
Yeah, it is a very good, just sort of simplified moral and ethical dilemma that's at the heart of all of this. And I think what makes it so just that confrontation alone so powerful, as I think you can see both sides of it very, very clearly, even if you sort of take away like all of the outside noise, take away every horrible thing that
Mhm.
Kathleen has otherwise done, because she has done some really horrible things. We saw that in this episode. But, the idea of her wanting justice for her brother, that's out there and universal for a lot of people who go through tragedy.
Yeah, and my biggest question got answered in this episode too, which is like, okay, I get it. That's Kathleen's brother. I understand why she's like, I will burn this town to the ground
Yeah.
for my brother, to get justice for my brother. But I was kind of like, well, why is everybody else following her to do this? Like, why, right? And now we've got some more answers on it, where it's like, not only was her brother this very important man that was leading this resistance, but her right hand man was just like, yes, he was a great man. We all loved your brother. But you are the person who has made the change for everybody in such a significant way that we are all able to survive. And it's because of you. And that's why, no matter what it is you want to burn Casey to the ground. Okay, we burned it to the ground to get to Henry, because you are the person who has made our lives better.
Melanie Linsky. Man, like, what is
She is so wonderful. Oh my God.
so great about her as an actress is, she's got this voice that really makes it that she could easily play kind of sweet, innocent characters. And you sort of look across her filmography. I mean, Rose on 2.5 Men, who was crazy.
Yeah.
You have Yellow Jacket, Shauna, not exactly, the barometer of like good and healthy morals all the time. And then Kathleen, who is just straight up, let's go ahead and take out every single person in this room if they don't give us a, like, she really finds some dark roles to play, and man, is she good at them.
It's also really interesting because we saw in the last episode the floor kind of moving, where, Kathleen was like, we're going to deal with that later because that's not as important as getting Henry, where I think everyone knew that really what's going on under the floor is more important than getting Henry. Like, yes, getting revenge is obviously at the top of her list, but like, as a leader, she really let everybody down with this. Like, look at what happened. She ignored it, was like, don't worry, it'll hold. She knew it wasn't gonna hold. Like, there's no way. The floor is like this, it's not gonna hold. And then when you see that mega mushroom man that came out of the floor, it's just like, this is wild. Like, there was no way that was going to hold, and she should have found a way to take care of that before dealing with Henry. Henry may or may not have really actually gotten out of the city. I mean, she really didn't know what was going on, and that was part of her panic. But like, now everybody's dead, including her. Well done.
Let's talk about your friend, the swole mushroom man, here for a moment.
Oh my goodness, he was so scared. You see pull his head right off.
Oh, so, okay. See,
wow.
I have a joke for you about Mr. Swole Mushroom Man.
Oh, here we go.
What do you think he's been taking to get all that mass?
What?
Sporoids. You are all welcome. Don't leave the video. I've been sitting on that for a whole 8 minutes, everyone. No,
it's pretty. Listen, it's The Last of Us pun jokes.
Yes.
If you guys are still here after last week and my pirate joke, hit that subscribe button.
Yes, we need the sport. By the way, see, we deserve all these jokes too. After the fact that all of them like coming out of the ground at once, and it gave me a heart attack while I was watching the episode. Like, I knew things were going to get a bit violent. I was hearing the noise. I did not expect. Bruh.
It was wild, like crazy. I mean, I knew it was coming when I saw the truck sinking, but I didn't expect it to be the way that it was. It was so overwhelming.
Now, it's very funny to take the turn that I'm about to after saying sporoids, but let's talk about Sam for a minute here, because I think Sam represents something that's really, really important, in that he is sort of the picture of innocence, and in a way a picture of, I think, the innocence that Ellie probably wishes that she had on some level. Like, her entire childhood is basically taken from her, and when she and Sam are in, that little underground city bunker, whatever you want to call it, and they're just like running around and sort of playing and how
Yeah.
it is that moment where you sort of see, look at these, they're actually getting to be normal kids for like just like a split second of time. And I think it was so valuable to kind of characterize that even in this world, this sort of thing is still possible. But poor Sam just has to live with all of this fear to the point where Henry's really encouraging this, superhero alter ego to sort of be brave and take on what is out there.
No, I think that this world, The Last of Us, they've done a really good job of keeping humanity. And in
Yeah.
a world like this, it's very hard to keep that, to keep sort of not necessarily innocence, but joy. I mean, there's that moment where, Joel's like, let's keep pressing on. And she's just like, look at all this cool stuff. Can we just take a minute? Like,
Yeah.
we never get to see anything like this or spend any time with some cool, fun stuff to do. And that's something like it reminds me of The Walking Dead, that moment with Carl where he's got that huge like bucket of pudding and he's just like, I'm living my best life right now. Or over on Lost when they were like, you know what? We're going to play some golf. We have one golf ball and one club. And guess what? This is what's going to be going on because we need to have just a moment of a break from all the horrific stuff that is going on. Like, we just need it.
Yeah, that was it was so important for this episode to have like those moments where we get really sort of attached to Sam, to Henry, and I think I mean, it makes the end of it, I think, all the more devastating in a way because Ellie knows, even in the midst of playing around with Sam somewhere in the back of her head, she's just like, I still got to go out west. I'm still sort of like this chosen person. And, and I don't even think she necessarily thought when she was trying to give, Sam this her healing blood after, what happens to him, where that she was like, okay, this is for sure going to work. But she was desperate because I think she wanted to retain, like, that part of herself, what she sees in him. And she just wanted to grasp at straws and hold on to that like sliver of hope. And I think when he dies, like that little part of hope within her dies as well. And it's going to be interesting to see how she can get that back.
Yeah, I think that there was a real sort of turning point for her there where she made this connection with Sam. Sam got bit. She cut her hand. She thought, I don't know what to do. Like something in me is able to fight against what is going on here. So I'm just going to throw, whatever I can at the wall. I'll put my blood on him, see if it's my blood. She doesn't really know what's going on, or at least that's the impression I'm getting from what she did.
Yeah.
That obviously it didn't end up working. Sam ended up turning, and we saw everything that ended up happening there, where Sam is now dead, Henry's now dead. But when she writes "I'm sorry" when they're burying them and puts that down, there's that moment where I think I saw it on her face where she's kind of like, where's Wes?
Yeah.
Let's get going. Let's get going. And it's almost like an urgency now where she's like, okay, I know that I can help people, but how? I don't know how. So we need to get to somebody who can figure out what it is about me so that what happened with Sam is not going to happen with the next person and the next person. We have to get somewhere so that I can actually do something about this. Where I think when we first met her with, Marlene and everything, where it was like, oh, you're this special chosen person, you have this. She was kind of like, yeah, haha, whatever, sure, I'll
Mhm.
do what I have to do. But now I think she has a more personal motivation because she couldn't help Sam.
And I think she's probably going to be, I think there'll still be, a sense of that sarcasm or whatever else we've seen from her. But I think she's going to be a little bit more like Joel now in the sense that
Oh, I hope
she's
not.
opened her heart up to somebody and now that person's gone. And I'm afraid it's going to make her very closed off. And and it would be really ironic if it is like Joel who ends up being the person who is like, Ellie, don't become like me. Like, still, and I don't know if he has that like self awareness within himself, but it could be another interesting way to sort of forge a greater bond with those two.
Absolutely. There's something so great about Ellie that like when she was having that conversation with Sam where he's just like, are you never afraid? And she's like, don't I look afraid? And he's like, no, like never, sort of thing. Just that's the way that she kind of deals with her fear and sort of what's going on in the world, is to cover it up with jokes,
Yeah.
cover it up with sort of laughter. I mean, we all know people that are like that, and it works, right? But as a viewer, it's nice to have that kind of break in a show that is this dark, where
Yes.
everybody's dying and we're in episode 5 and this body count is huge.
I love this episode so much. It's like, and this is one I think actually I would want to rewatch again. Like Bill and Frank, I mean, I love that episode. I could never watch that episode
No, I
again.
can't.
It would destroy me way, way too much. But we're past the halfway point now, guys. There's only 9 episodes in this season. So strap in, hit that subscribe button. We will take you through the rest of this journey out west. Nothing bad is going to happen next week, right?
Oh,
All
goodness.
right. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you here next time.